Should there be, I mean, is some responsibility in terms of to communicate? Should there be, therefore, a list of demands, or is that not, does that not serve the cause?
I don't think so. I think that...
You don't think they should or should not be?
They should not be. I think they've done it right. First of all, you know, I just want to reiterate Amy's point that the non-hierarchical structure is part of its brilliance. It avoids the kind of cults of personality that plagued all of the movements in the 60s. And it gives everybody, it's cumbersome. I mean, these General Assemblies can sort of drag on and on and on. But it gives everybody a sense of empowerment, and it makes it very difficult for the authorities to decapitate it. There are undercover cops down there, and aside from the fact that it's like a bad Doonesbury cartoon where they all look like cops, the other tip-off is they're all walking around saying, well, so who do you think the core leadership is? Where are the leaders? Well, first of all, it's completely transparent. You don't need to be an undercover cop. You can wear your uniform and go to the General Assembly, as many uniformed cops around the park do, and hear every word that's uttered and every decision that's made. And I think that that transparency and that non-hierarchical structure is really brilliant and gives it a kind of resiliency, and they rotate. You know, people will assume positions to facilitate, and they'll change so that nobody accumulates too much power. You know, I think that it's more that this group recognizes that the formal structures of power are tone deaf. And I spent a lot of time talking about this in Death of the Liberal Class, but the ability to carry out piecemeal and incremental reform, which is what liberal institutions do. You know, when Conrad Black wrote his biography of Roosevelt, he said that Roosevelt's greatest achievement was that he saved capitalism. And I think that's right, that when there is a breakdown, liberal institutions provide a kind of safety valve. Well, the corporate state, in its myopia and idiocy, thought it could dispense with the liberal class. And therefore, there is no way to appeal to the system. It doesn't matter what the citizens want. There was no popular support for the FISA Reform Act, which retroactively made legal what under our Constitution is illegal, the warrantless wiretapping, monitoring, and eavesdropping of tens of millions of Americans. There was no popular support for the bailout. Constituent calls were 100 to 1 across the political spectrum. But of course, Goldman Sachs wanted it. And that is the bottom line. There is no way to vote against the interests of Goldman Sachs. And so when you shut that safety valve off, you create movements that seek to tear down a monolithic and tone-deaf and callous power structure. And that's precisely what's happened. Now, within that movement, I think it's appropriate for teachers and firefighters and students to make demands. But I think that the ability of the movement to, and of course that has great symbolic value being where it is at the gates of Wall Street, has realized that if we don't tear down the structure of the corporate state, it doesn't really matter what we do.
Join us online at charlierose.com.